Hello and welcome to another episode of Feeding Fatty. This is Roy.
This is Terry.
Of course, we are the podcast that chronicles our journey through eating, trying to eat right, eat more healthful, more thoughtful eating, trying to get out, move every day, and also mindset. You know, it's funny, I think as we go through this in the beginning, it was more about what we were eating. And I think we have shifted a lot of this more to mindset, just with the realization that in order to make sustainable change, we have to get our minds right and be ready. And
Just all signs were pointing to the mindset.
Yeah.
Every time we thought, okay, well, we're going to try this other, we'll do it for a day or two or a week or whatever. And then,
Yep.
got to figure out what is sustainable for
Right.
us.
So today we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about diabetes. You know, we release our interview episodes with professionals and others stories in the industry on Tuesdays. On Thursdays, we've kind of been focusing a lot on diabetes because I struggle with that and, trying to keep my sugars in control. And it's very, very difficult, especially the older you get and the more sedentary you are. So anyway, we found a good article. I'll let you start into it if you want there.
Yeah, this is from KSAT. It's an ABC affiliate in San Antonio, and it was an article that just said, "Is intermittent fasting right for you?" And we've been seeing a lot that intermittent fasting could be good for people with diabetes.
Right.
It might be a positive thing for them to help them reverse it, because that it is reversible, but you have to eat your way to it, I think, right?
Yeah,
Think
I don't know. It's
or fast your way to it.
no, yeah, I think this article brings up some questions, and again, before we go too far,
Yes.
we are not doctors. We don't pretend to be. We don't dispense advice. We always ask, that if you're going to start something new or different, go to your doctor, go to a nutritionist, a registered nutritionist, find somebody that's really trained for this, because we're not. We have we've been trying this intermittent fasting, not I don't know, for the last few months. It seemed more or less, and we've had varied results. At the very beginning, it was my sugars were a lot more stable, and then here lately, they've been way high and much more out of control. So I don't know if it's some other stuff. I know there was one specific piece of food that I was eating that I thought was uh, no to low carbs and was actually pretty high in them. So that was just a mistake that I had made. But reading through this, because we've heard evidence from a lot of people that that the fasting is good because it lets our body have time to recover,
to digest and do what it needs to
yeah,
mechanically, and it counts. I mean, the hours count while you're sleeping, so
yeah,
it's not as it's not as bad as it sounds. But if we go from like 7 p.m. at night until noon the next day,
yeah.
right there.
Well, and there's some people that just do from 7 at night to 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's where a doctor, I think, could help you kind of dial in what's right for you. But the thing is like your body is always working to digest. And the other part of that that's good, I think, is like I'm a night eater. So after 7 o'clock, it's good for me to be done instead of, like 9, 10 o'clock, instead of looking for a snack or wanting to go, get a ice cream cone or something like that. You're just done, and let your body kind of you know have a give it a break where it's not always digesting your food. But anyway, as we read through this story, it says that and this is a quote. This is from a
KSAT.
ksat.com, which is a San Antonio, you say ABC
ABC.
news outlet.
Right.
But it's I think they're quoting Tisha Calvo with Consumer Reports,
Right.
and it just says that when done in a healthful way, intermittent fasting can help control inflammation and may even lower the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers. Okay, which that's great. This is what we have heard, over and over, that it can be helpful. The inflammation has gotten to, it's kind of the root of all evil, it seems
Mm-hmm.
like, in our bodies when we talk about cancer and other heart disease and things like that. But then in the very next paragraph,
Yeah.
it says intermittent fasting isn't for everyone. It could be too extreme for older adults, people with diabetes, and those who take medications at certain times. So
That's kind
anyway,
of everybody,
it just kind
right?
of it just kind of left us wondering, if the in the top part about inflammation, if they're talking about like before you actually become a diabetic, if you do some fasting, maybe you can help that, or maybe
Head
it's
it
just
off the
certain people
past.
with diabetes. I don't know. But anyway, it's a little contradicting. So we're going to have to do a little more research on this to see what's up. But it does say that, to be sure and eat plenty of protein and fiber during the day. If you are going to fast, eat it. It lists fruit, oatmeal, cottage cheese, things like that that'll help keep you satisfied, from through that period. Because it depending on what you're doing, if you can get on a normal schedule, what I would call normal for me, where we could be done and go to bed at 9 or 9:30, it doesn't affect me as bad. But when I'm up late and having to work and do stuff, then that's when I really uh, have those cravings or that desire is, like maybe 10 o'clock. So it's
Right.
it's kind of interesting for me because then it gets back to sleep. I think sleep is catalyst for me to really start a lot of bad things happening, and this is definitely one of them.
Well, and you have some there, I know you need many more hours in the day to complete everything. Everybody could use a few more hours, but your body just, you're so tired and your eyes are burning and you're trying to do everything you can just to make sure that you stay up. So it's not as simple as just saying, yeah, I need to be done at 7, but
Yeah,
because when 8 o'clock comes around, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 12, and you're still up, I mean, maybe that's just
yeah,
telling you you got to go, you have to go sleep because sleep is so important
yeah.
too.
Yeah, she mentions here too that have an early dinner between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Late night eating has been linked to greater risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. So again, and they suggest cutting your dinners down and trying to do about 600 calories and eat more
For
veggies
dinner.
for
Yeah.
dinner because when you go out to eat, or even sometimes when
Oh
we
my
cook at
gosh.
home, you'd be surprised when you really
Oh,
add up
that's,
your calories. I
yeah,
mean, you can do 800 to 1,000 calories very, very easy.
easy.
That's
And
not
when
even counting dessert.
no, and when you add like toppings and dressings and sauces and, all that stuff and the salt, when you add all that stuff, it changes the dynamics of your food.
Right.
So helps with inflammation, right?
Right.
Um, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. The other thing too, we pulled another article. This is from the Express, which I think this is a UK publication, but it was actually talking about the 5 fruits
Oh yeah.
that can raise your blood sugar, and it was an interesting list. Watermelon, one of my favorite, the very first one, but it's kind of, to me, it was obvious because it has such a sweet taste to it. But watermelons, pumpkin, pineapple, which I was surprised, fruit juice, and then dried fruits. Again, dried fruits, use, I've been using them in my snacks. Eat a little dried fruit and nuts, thinking I was doing a good thing. But here again, may have to recheck that if it's got they refer back to these have a high GI, which is
Glycemic
the
index.
glycemic
Yeah. And
index.
this is from, what is it? Cure. I lost it.
Cure life.
Cure Life. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
And the GI is a rating system for foods containing carbs. Did you already say that? I'm
no,
sorry.
no, it's fine. Yeah, and it just
It's just how quickly each one affects your blood sugar level, all of that, and making sure that you're not metabolizing too many carb grams. They also listed the the worst. I'm sorry, the best fruits.
Okay. I didn't see that. What are those?
Okay.
Oh, here they are.
So
Okay.
yeah, the
Go
best
ahead.
fruits for diabetics to consume, the top 10 fruits: blackberries, oranges, strawberries, avocados.
Now,
You like
avocado's a
avocado?
fruit?
It
Oh my God. I thought
is.
it's a vegetable. Oh
Well,
my
I,
gosh.
I don't see tomatoes on here. Isn't
Yeah.
tomatoes a fruit also?
I don't know.
Mm. Sour cherries. Okay. Um, Not sweet ones. All right. Plums, grapefruit, pears, apples, nectarines, peaches, bananas, and blueberries.
See, and that's interesting about the bananas being on there because I thought that
Yeah.
they were one of the higher carbs, and maybe there's enough fiber in it that it's got that slower release. But that's good news for me because I like bananas, and
Yes.
we typically eat a lot of the blueberries and a lot of the blackberries, which I like those in small doses. But I think people, sometimes there are people that talk about, eating fruit because it's natural won't hurt you, but fruit has a lot of natural sugars in them. So for us diabetics, we still have to pay attention to that and just be careful when. And I try to eat mine earlier in the day just to give me a chance to work it off versus eating them late at night and then going to bed. It'll usually cause me a bump in the morning when I wake up. So
Right. Well, and this article also said, in addition to eating the lower GI foods, that exercise can help keep your blood sugar
yeah.
levels under control. And we've talked about that too.
Yep. And it does. It helps me, to try to get out after a meal and walk. If I can get on a good walking schedule, I think that's been a bad thing about this pandemic is I have become very sedentary, more than usual. I have to set for my job and we set for, doing through our podcast a lot, but it just, I don't know, it's not been a good thing. It's been great in some respects, but it's not been for that part. I think it's my movement has not been as good as it should be.
But you are taking proactive steps, and you did get a new Fitbit lately.
Yeah, I did. And I really love this. I came my iWatch, iPhone, whatever it is,
Apple.
Apple Watch, kind of crashed on me, and I didn't use all the functions, the talking or texting and music controls. I just didn't use all that stuff. So when it went, I actually went back to a Fitbit that had. I had a Fitbit prior to that, and when it gave up, that's when I went to the Apple Watch. But I'm happy to be back with the Fitbit because it's got a prompter. And Apple may have it, but this one here is just a better prompt to get up and walk 250 steps every hour during your waking hours. And those add up. Excuse me. After a day,
Of sitting.
yeah. When we go walk at night, instead of starting with zero, because people don't.
Right.
I think if you don't work from home and don't stay at home a lot, it may be hard to fathom this, but if I don't make an effort, I mean, I can do 300 to 500 steps a day, and that's all. Coming from the bedroom to the office to the kitchen to the office and back to the bedroom. It's not that many. So, but this watch, what it does, it kind of prompts me through the day, and so then in the evening, when we go walking, I've got 2,500 or more steps already in. So I think it's a great thing. And the other thing, it helps me through the day to get up and get moving.
Yeah. Well, and the dogs really like it because you psych them out thinking that they're going somewhere.
Yeah.
But they have to wait
Yeah.
because we can't take them OUT yet. But you do, I mean, you do a good job. You just have to remember to put that Fitbit on and
Yeah.
and do it.
Yeah. I think it's been, you don't have to do everything at once. And sometimes there's a misconception that you have
Yeah.
to do everything all at one time, and you really don't. Those incremental steps that you take all through the day, at the end of the day, they all add up and they all count. And I'm the worst for when I go to the gym. I love to stay there and
Hours.
do a little bit of everything, the cardio, get on some weights. I used to go to a place that had a punching bag that you could go do that. So man, I love to go do all that, and then you end up, like you said, being there for 2 or 3 hours. But then it becomes a discouragement because now instead of running there for 15 or 20 minutes, it's like, ugh, if I can't go do everything I want, stay there for a
I
couple
know.
hours, and I just don't go. But anyway, so you kind of have to get over that, whatever you go and do. The other thing about that, I was kind of noticing, we talked about tonight, is that if I am up and busy, if I'm outside working, I don't really eat as bad as if I'm in the house. It seems like if it's within arm's reach, it's much easier. So, sometimes just kind of jokingly say the going to the gym is its own thing for sure. But the kind of the byproduct is when you're gone and when you're there, you're not eating. So, it kind of helps you in that
You're busy
respect as
doing
well.
something else,
Yeah.
right?
So that's kind of something that I know that is a, I don't know if it's a trigger or just a observation that, if I'm staying close to the house, I tend to eat worse than if I'm out running around doing stuff. So,
Yeah, and that's probably got something to say with who's going to the grocery store and stocking the cabinets. So
yeah.
that could be a harder thing to um, partake in if I wasn't so weak and got the junky stuff. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops,
Yeah.
you're outed. I'm outed.
Yeah. Right.
Although I got some really good stuff this last time.
Yes. It's been,
Yes, it's been
last couple
interesting.
meals have been interesting for sure.
Uh-huh.
But we're going to plug through. We're going to make it, and we're going to try to be more active. We're going to try to find out a little more about this fasting, the intermittent fasting, to see. I would really like to, kind of figure that out. Because to be honest, it's one, breakfast is my meal. And, that's always been the meal that we cook the most
Mm-hmm.
and the biggest every weekend. And it's tough for me to be done with that. The other thing I think we've mixed up a little bit is, instead of eating, maybe doing a smoothie, uh, for breakfast first thing too. So,
Right. I did. Hold on. I did just pull up another article that said the biggest downside to intermittent fasting for people with type 2 is the danger of hypoglycemia or low blood sugar.
no.
So, for this reason, it's
Hmm.
recommended that they consult with their nutritionist and doctor to monitor their sugars. And
Yeah.
so,
Never been a problem I had. Mine are always plenty high. I struggle trying just to keep them down. But like we said, go see a doctor if you're going to start something like this. It's always good just to make sure what advice they've got for you individually, because there may be other health factors that you have that your next door neighbor doesn't have. So it's always good to let your doctor tell you specifically.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. You got anything else before we get out of here?
No, not that. No.
All right. Well, again, we appreciate the listeners. Like I said, we're going to try to, stay a little bit more diabetes focused, since that's definitely what I struggle with, and uh, try to release those on our Thursday with our guests on Tuesdays. We've got some great guests coming up. Had some good interviews the last few days, and
Oh, yeah.
then we've got a lot of great content already out there. So just would suggest to look back through some of the episodes, see if you can find one that resonates with you. You've had some great people on, and got a lot of great more coming, so we're excited about that. But anyway, until next time, I'm your host, Roy.
I'm Terry.
You can find us at www.feedingfatty.com. We're also on all the major podcast platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Spotify. If we're not on one that you listen to, please reach out. We'd love to get you added, or get the one that you use added. We're also on all the major social media networks. Probably hang out on Instagram a little bit more than any place else. A video recording of this episode will also go up when it goes live on YouTube. If you are a provider of some type in the health wellness mindset area, give us a reach out. We'd love to talk to you about being a guest. Also, if you've got a great story about overcoming some obstacles, what you've done to get healthy, what you've done to help change your mind, reach out. We'd love to have you on as a guest. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of your health.